Welcome back to 3 Shots In. I'm Jake.
I'm Jess. It's my turn to tell you a little story.
It is. She forgot to mention Sam, Ricky, they are still here. And we are here to wrap this up. Jess.
Yeah.
Final story.
I discovered the murder mystery that inspired the game Clue.
Ooh.
So we begin in England, 1931, the opulent setting of the recently opened Grand Hotel, the Dorchester, where a brutal murder briefly shattered the tranquility, leading to a complex investigation filled with money, sexy sex, and scandal.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Whoa.
I know.
Mrs. White getting dirty.
She's not white
Getting
anymore. The victim, Mr. Rupert Howard, a wealthy businessman with a notorious reputation, was found dead in his room on the morning of May 28th, beaten to death, his skull seemingly caved in by blunt force.
Ooh.
A little about Rupert Howard. He was a man of substantial wealth and influence, known as much for his financial acumen as for his dirty indiscretions. He was married, you see, but often unfaithful. Howard's womanizing ways and lavish spending habits had earned him both friends and enemies. His death sent shockwaves through the community as whispers of his various liaisons and financial dealings came to light. Let's discuss the suspects of this murder. The investigation quickly focused on 5 individuals, most of whom were also staying at the hotel, each with a potential motive and a connection to the deceased. The first suspect we'll discuss is Miss Lillian Passett.
This is Peacock.
In a room on the same floor as the victim, Lillian Passett was officially an acquaintance of Rupert Howard's. But it was rumored that behind closed doors, she was his dirty little mistress.
They liaisoned.
Skank.
Passett, at first, denied any knowledge of Howard's presence at the Dorchester. Merely a coincidence. But she did soon admit that Howard had designated the hotel as a place for them to meet.
Oh.
She also claimed their meeting was to discuss nothing more than finance.
Yeah. Okay.
Finance only,
We
you
were
guys.
just making a deal.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
Looking for a man in finance.
Miss Passett is suspect number 1. And let's move on to suspect number 2, Major Isaac Bowie. Major Isaac Bowie, an associate of Mr. Howard, submitted to questioning without complaint. In his statement, he claimed he and Mr. Howard met often to talk business and had been meeting at the Dorchester about an investment recently made by Bowie. When pressed for further information, however, Bowie became agitated and uncooperative. Suspect number 3, Mr. Charles Green.
There was a
Green.
Mr. Green.
There really is a Mr.
Oh my
Green.
gosh.
I know.
Well, it wasn't a major, it was Colonel Mustard, but
Mr. Charles Green, Howard's family lawyer, had long managed Mr. Howard's legal affairs and was notably distraught. He confirmed that Howard had attended the Dorchester in order to meet with Major Bowie. He also stated that Howard had taken a large sum of money from the Major on loan and that he'd been summoned by Howard to oversee their talks. Yet, he is still a suspect. Suspect number 4, Dr. Frederick Gammons.
Professor Plum.
Professor Plum.
Professor Plum.
There it is.
Professor Plum.
Dr. Gammons was a young and ambitious academic, was named by Major Bowie as a suspect, but was discovered at a nearby inn rather than the Dorchester. Dr. Gammons had sought funding from Howard and Bowie earlier that year for a comprehensive study on the economic impacts of industrialization in rural England.
Sounds like the most boring research project.
Sounds like
ever.
you also would have told him, no thanks, I'm not
Yeah.
going to.
Everybody knew that. Gosh.
The doctor, desperate after being denied. He appeared at the hotel to plead his case in person. Although not recorded, it's believed that Gammons bribed someone in Howard's employ for information on his whereabouts, only to be denied again.
Fuck off, book boy. You know? Get out of here, loser.
Suspect number 5, Mrs. Florence Browning. Relatives of Rupert Howard insisted on reviewing the guest list of the hotel after his murder, and they named a Mrs. Florence Browning as a suspect.
Miss Scarlet.
Whore.
Although Browning claimed she'd never met Howard, she had a long-standing grievance against his family. A lawsuit years earlier had resulted in her losing valuable and historically significant property to the Howard family. Perhaps the financial devastation of losing what was apparently an important piece of land in her lawsuit with the Heralds gave Mrs. Browning a strong motive for revenge. But she was quickly ruled out as a suspect, as investigators believed she had little if nothing to gain, and no one had seen them together during their stay.
I think we maybe got them confused. Maybe she's Mrs. Peacock.
She's Peacock.
And
the mistress
and
was
the
Scarlet.
mistress that he liaisoned
true.
with is Miss Scarlet.
Having a look at Rupert Howard's clothing, pale fibers resembling animal fur was found on his trousers.
Ooh.
These fibers were consistent with a pelt sported by Major Bowie during his time at the Dorchester. And hotel staff reported that a loud argument between two men was heard coming from Howard's room on the evening of his death. When informed that an argument had been overheard by the staff, only then did Bowie confess that he and Howard had argued. Bowie said he'd intended to discuss the return of his investment with Howard, but had become outraged to learn that his money had been given to none other than Miss Passett, who, thanks to Howard, had not signed a contract and had no legal obligation to return it.
Oh, snap.
Yikes.
I don't. But would he really have killed someone who owed him money? Like, it makes more sense to not kill him because then he can get your money back.
Maybe. Bowie, a religious man, was known for having very strict principles. He disapproved of Miss Passett, disapproved of Mr. Howard's philandering, we'll say, and he felt betrayed by Howard's actions.
Sure.
Bowie denied involvement in his associate's demise, but investigators perceived the potential loss of his investment and the scandal that he believed it would cause him provided him with a motive.
Oh.
With this new information, Miss Passett was brought back into questioning. Eventually, she explained that she had borrowed from Howard to establish a high-end boutique catering to London's elite. And when pressed, Passett admitted she was unwilling to repay the debt despite the success of her boutique because she was newly established. She desired more time.
Just a baby.
I mean,
I can't.
I don't have any money.
I don't have any money.
you know, sounds reasonable. Just a little bit more time.
Howard, however, had demanded repayment
Oh.
and threatened to ruin her reputation if she did not comply.
He was gonna smear her name all through the
But I mean,
streets.
her name was already being smeared because of everyone.
It was rumored.
Knew about
so
his,
people must have been talking about it.
Yeah, like they were already talking. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Right. So you don't think it was hers, is what it sounds like.
I don't think it was her.
Well, Passett met with him at the Dorchester to sign a contract obligating her to return the invested sum and more by the end of the year. Passett insisted she wasn't capable of hurting Howard, and especially based on the state he was found in, investigators believed her, didn't think she was physically strong enough to do the damage that was done to his body, and they ruled her out as a suspect.
Okay.
Further questioning of the young Dr. Gammons led to nothing helpful.
That's the guy who's doing the
man.
research?
Yeah,
Okay.
the nerd. But it seemed to investigators that his career and his future did depend on securing financial support, and after learning Howard and Bowie denied even to speak with him in the hotel. Apparently, it was representatives who told him to leave. They believed he had a strong motive as well, so he's still on the table. Mr. Charles Green, the lawyer, provided a contract that he had drawn up for Miss Passett to sign, which confirmed her story, but became noticeably uncomfortable when he was asked about a letter of resignation discovered in Howard's jacket pocket.
Oh. Oh.
According to many, Howard considered Green a trusted confidant, and investigators commented that it seemed a bit too early for retirement based off of his age. Green claimed that he longed to be closer to his relatives in Scotland before old age, although there seemed to be more. Based off of the information we have so far, who do we think it is, gang?
Well, you just talked about green last, so green.
You're feeling green?
I'm thinking the major. He had the capability and the fur was found on his body.
There was fur.
It was
Who's
nobody.
The
He accidentally
He's
like
the
ran into a
researcher?
pipe or some shit.
Gammons, Dr. Gammons.
He
I
slipped
feel
and
like
fell in
him
the
only
shower.
because he was
Yeah.
just so desperate.
No.
He was a desperate, poor little guy.
I mean,
think
as
it
of
was
right
him.
now, you
Feel
know,
that every day.
it's not firm.
Either that or it's one of the women who they ruled out.
In a shocking twist, under intense scrutiny, Green revealed that he and Howard were lovers.
Oh!
He told investigators he could no longer bear the heartache of their clandestine relationship.
The heartache.
He decided to sever his ties with Rupert Howard and return to Scotland, where he had spent most of his early childhood. But when Howard threatened to frame Green for embezzlement To prevent him from leaving, Green was driven to a desperate act. An argument with Howard had escalated, leading to a fatal blow with a heavy brass candlestick.
Whoa! I was right. The candlestick.
Oh, yeah.
You were right.
Mr. Green with the candlestick in the
Room.
Bedroom. Historians believe that the Dorchester did a lot of work to keep all of this pretty hush for a while.
Right.
Because it happened a month after they opened. Eventually,
Oh, yeah,
word-
that's
soon.
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
That's pretty
place you
soon.
wanna stay.
it doesn't make them look very good. Well, eventually, word
Wow.
did get out about it. That was about 20 or so years later. A British board game designer named Anthony Pratt, as well as a manufacturer called Waddington's, released a game that they called Cluedo,
What?
which was later called Clue in
What is it
America.
like?
That's a much better.
Cluedo.
I really don't know why Cluedo was the first name, based off of the similarities. People think Clue is based on this murder mystery.
Wow. Very interesting.
That
Very
is my
nice.
full story.
I liked it.
Very nice.
I do
That's-
have one more reveal, though.
What?
What?
I made all of that up. None of it was true.
What?
All of it was made by ChatGPT based off a real game of Clue I played.
You bitch.
That's right.
I
I
don't like that at all.
despise you.
am
I don't like that at all.
impressed
You had me so pulled
and
in.
disappointed at the same time.
Wait, even the Cluedo thing?
Well, Cluedo was real.
Okay.
They really did call
Oh,
it
thank
that.
God. Something's real. I didn't know what to believe.
Dude, that AI was
So
gonna
that's the
come
only
for
thing
you.
that's true. That's the only thing that's true is it was once called Cluedo and then they changed it to Clue.
That's
And
not the only thing that was true. It was
Anthony
also
Pratt-
that I was right.
I was also right with the candlestick,
Anthony Pratt really was the game designer, and Waddington's was the manufacturer. So
but everything else was a lie.
the rest of that, yeah, was a lie.
Jessica,
I made up all of that.
fellow shotheads, do you feel betrayed as well?
They
You
do.
should. Isn't this going
Well,
on YouTube?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Put in the comments below
Yeah.
what a terrible person
Yeah.
Jessica is.
Yeah, just put horse gifs.
Fill the comments with horses.
So many horses and horse shit.